All right, we're back on the BoxingBar.com. Mikey Garcia is joining us today. Thank you, Mikey, for coming back on the BoxingBar.com, and welcome, man.
No problem, Albert. So it's a pleasure being on the show. It's my pleasure to be part of this and just share a little more insight.
And Mikey, the last time we talked, man, yeah, just it was a few weeks after you won your WBO title against Orlando Salido. You were still yet to get that WBO belt around you, but you got it in Puerto Rico during a ceremony. What was that like, man, finally getting that belt at that time?
Just finally have the belt and be able to hold it and put it in my house. It was what really made it for me. Just winning the fight was great, obviously. But to have it around my waist and actually physically have it, was really really special for me.
And months later, you're going to fight a big time Puerto Rican fighter, Juan Manuel Lopez, who had lost twice to your prior opponent, Orlando Salido. What was it like when you heard that news that you were going to be fighting a very solid guy named Juan Manuel Lopez? What was that like for you?
Oh well, we're always up for any challenge, and my manager Cameron and Top Rank decided to go with Juan Lopez as the opponent, and Lopez team was very very excited to get another opportunity to fight for the title that he once held, and so we were prepared and ready to face another top fighter and tough opponent, tough challenge. But we just make sure that we had to get ready, and like every champion, we got to defend your title.
And what was training like going up to that fight? Did you do something different than you did in previous fights, knowing that this was going to be a solid fighter like your prior fight with Salido? What was preparation like?
Well, we always study our opponents and try to work from that. And the big differences were obviously sparring southpaw, trying to have a couple of different guys that are a little different styles to the raw southpaw. Some guys brought in speed, some guys brought in power. And we try to have some guys that pressure me, some guys that block, just to be ready for whatever Lopez was going to bring on fight night. But they were all southpaws. That was the only major difference. Other than that, we worked hard. We did all the work with my dad, all the road work with Daryl Hudson and strength coach, and with Robert, my brother. We did everything that we normally always do.
And a lot of fighters seem to have difficulty with southpaws. Some really try to stay away from fighting southpaws. What is fighting a southpaw to you? Is that something different, or is that something that you've done all your life?
It's not that difficult for me to fight a southpaw. I feel pretty much the same. I feel pretty comfortable. It takes a maybe good preparation and good technique to break down your opponent's style and kind of figure out what you're gonna do. And I'm comfortable with southpaws. We study the opponent and try to do a lot of training against southpaws and also for other fights.
The day of the weigh-in when you went in, how did you feel? Everybody was starting to say because you came in 2 pounds overweight, a lot of people were starting to jump on you for that reason. But I remember talking to you a few weeks back, and you were saying that you were sick prior to that fight. What happened there? Give us a little explanation there.
It happened before, and we normally no fighter wants to tell anybody that they're sick or whatever. When you're losing weight, sometimes your body is very weak and your immune system is down, and you do get sick trying to lose weight, but sometimes you just work through it and no big problem. This time I think it affected a little bit on the weight, especially because I had never really focused on making weight. I mean, I always I never had problems making weight, so I always focused just on training. And this time, the weight was coming down, but then I kind of got a little sick, so I kind of took some slack there. Took a day or two of drinking more fluids than normally, and I got over the cold, the flu, and a couple of days before the weigh-in, I was really working hard to make the weight, and I got sick again. I was cramping up. I couldn't even open my hand up, without helping my hand from my other hand. Just my fingers were so numb and stiff, and I just got really really sick. But it's just something that had never happened to me, and I never thought it would happen to me, but it did. It surprised me a lot.
And a lot of people are also talking about how that you weren't trying to lose a weight during that, few hours that they give you to lose weight there. Because I would think, I know if I was a trainer, I wouldn't want my fighter to kill himself 24 hours before fighting a world class fighter and coming off of sickness. Was that kind of the plan? Were they kind of advising you not to kill yourself there 24 hours before the fight?
When I stepped on the first time, I've done everything to try to make the weight. That's why I didn't even care to try again because I already had tried everything possible to make the weight. And I knew I didn't have anything else. That there was no water, there's no food, there's nothing in my system that I could lose to make the 126 limit. So I know people can say and think, oh, he didn't even try. Well, they didn't see me try. They didn't see me. I tried. I did everything possible. I did more than enough, more than I probably should have. That's why I got so sick trying to make the weight. But when I stepped on the scale, I knew I was overweight. That's why I didn't even bother to come back because I knew there was nothing else for me to try. There's nothing else for me to do to help me lose weight. I just told him, that's it. I'm done. There's nothing else.
Was there ever a doubt? Like, was there ever a moment where you guys thought you guys were actually going to maybe have to postpone it?
Oh, even the day of the fight, we thought the fight was gonna be off because I woke up still, a little bad. I still had blurry vision, double vision, uh, all the way through maybe lunchtime, and I was talking to my manager all along, and my dad. They were the only ones that knew, and my manager was telling me that if I didn't feel well, that I would just cancel the fight. That's not a point. There's no point getting in the ring, if I'm not 100%. And I just told him to give me a couple of hours, and maybe I'll go over that and then just recover. And luckily, around 1 or 2 o'clock, I started feeling better, and I told him, we'll go with it. We'll go through it, the whole fight, and we'll just see how we do. And we went for it, but I was still pretty sick even in the morning.
I'm not trying to. I know a lot of people are going to think I'm trying to make an excuse, for you and all that stuff. But I mean, a lot of people don't understand that during a promotion, all the money that's spent and everything. I mean, look at what happened in the first Chavez and De La Hoya fight. Where Chavez had a cut prior to the fight, and days before, during a sparring session or whatever, and the fight had to go on. Because of the pressure put on the fighter. Hey, you know what? A lot of your fans have plans to go to the fight, and even if you're sick or hurting or risking a loss there, you're going to try to perform as best as you can and take advantage of that opportunity.
That's true, and this is not the first time that I go in the ring a little sick. I mean, this is the first time I go in this sick, but I can probably assure you that a lot of fighters and most, world champions, days where they fight, and they're a little sick or a little injured, something's not, right, but they still go to them.
Going into that fight and walking in the ring before that first bell, I mean, feeling sick the day of the fight or all the days prior to, and not getting the preparation that you might have been. Were you feeling at all like sick right before that first bell?
We were just a little worried that my body might not be in the best shape to take punches. We weren't sure how my body was gonna react to any punches landed from Lopez. I mean, I felt fine in the locker room. I felt fine warming up, but my dad's concern, my brother's concern, were that if the fight goes a long distance or if Lopez lands a good punch, my body may not react and it might actually be affected.
Did you feel like you had to throw a lot of power punches because you probably had to take them out early because you didn't know what the last rounds were going to be like because of this?
It never was the plan to stop them or knock them out in the fourth round or in the early rounds. It just happened to be the right moment. I heard them early, and first and second round when I dropped them, I felt like things were going to go well for me. And that fourth round, I landed a good right hand that hurt him, and then I just put him down with that left hook, and he was hurt enough to where the referee decided not to continue.
What's crazy about you, man, no matter what, it seems like you've always had an emotional balance, man. You never get frustrated. You don't seem to get mad. You don't seem to get happy. I mean, you just have a balance where you're always leveled, man. And there's a lot of people that lose it. There's a lot of people that emotionally they're not stable. And, I'm sure we can name a few people there. But, when you think about it, boxing is very much a mental game. If you're, Mike Tyson used to knock people out in the first round, even though that the athlete might have been good enough to or have the skills to do good against Tyson. They used to lose just walking in because they were so scared of him. So it is a mental game. How is it that you stay so poised, man, and so level-minded whenever you're in there? I know it throws off a lot of people. Even Max Kellerman, I think after you won the WBO title against Salido, he was kind of like, you don't show emotion. How's that? Where do you think that comes from?
I just feel very comfortable in the ring. I don't feel any pressure. I don't feel any pressure from the fans or from the media or reporters, anything like that. I just feel comfortable. I know what I got to do, and to me, it's just another day, in the ring, another fight, and I just got to make sure that I do what I got to do to win. That's the only way I feel. I don't get too excited over anything in the ring. I don't get desperate or
ago when I first had you on, man, you were one of my first guests, and I've had you on, several times since then. But it's kind of weird how, you see somebody grow in front of you. The first time I talked to you, you were a pretty good prospect coming up. Then you break into contention. Then you become a world champion, and now you're. A lot of people are considering you to be that should be on the top fighters. I mean, how is it that you got there so quick, man? In 2 years, you got through all this. What is that? What does that mean to you personally?
It's just the right fights in front of me, the right victories. Get the opportunity to display my skills and my boxing abilities for the fans and everybody to watch. That's what it's all about. I mean, I could be the best fighter, but if nobody sees it, I don't get the credit for it. And that's what we want as a team. For me, we want to make sure that everybody gets a chance to see, how well a complete fighter I am. And these last 2 years have been, really good for me. Been fighting on TV where people get a chance to see more and more every fight. I show them a little more of who I am.
And it's funny you brought up that little term. You said a complete fighter, and I've always called you Mikey Garcia, the total package. That's my nickname to you as a total package. And everybody that I've talked to, man, everybody, whether it be somebody in the sport. The other day, I had a filmmaker on named Alan Sawyer who has a boxing film coming up, and he said you're his favorite fighter. Rudy Hernandez says like you're going to be the next big thing. Rudy Hernandez, the trainer of Mike Alvarado.
Yeah.
I mean, it just goes on and on. All the people I talk to, whether it be on the streets or just talking to boxing fans or people on my Facebook, whatever. I don't think I've ever seen anybody say he's not capable or he's not going to be the next big thing. I remember years ago. This is before you became pro. One of your brother's close friends, Arturo Gonzo Barraza, saying at a fight. We went to go watch, I think, either Fernando or your brother fight, and he said Mikey Garcia one day is going to outshine all these guys, before him. And even though you were an amateur probably back then, it's kind of crazy to think that you're actually headed towards that way. What does your family? I know your dad is a big supporter of you and your brothers and everybody. What does your dad think of this?
He's very, very proud. He's very happy for me and proud. To be able to be, where I'm at and to be able to, be recognized by so many people, as like you were just saying, one of the best fighters in the world, pound for pound, hopefully in my next couple of fights. It's just really, really great. And, my whole family and I, and to us, it's just, like I said, it's just part of, who we are and what we do as a job. I mean, I don't feel that I'm better than anybody else. My dad doesn't think that I'm better or that I should be treated a certain way or, to us, it's just another job that we do. But definitely are proud of all the accomplishments. That's great, and we definitely appreciate all the compliments and all the support from everybody, from all the fans. That's always great. That's what I've told everybody. It's the fans that actually make me feel and make me kind of feel that I am world champion. They're the ones that kind of give me that satisfaction that I do deserve to be called world champion. And I think it's just great to be in that position. But other than that, I mean, I'm just doing my job.
You are that, and you are in that caliber. Your dad, we talked about him. I know, I'm hoping he's doing very well. And we talked about your family here. You're coming up with a documentary. You're co-producing a documentary, and I talked to Chuy Santillan last night on an interview. Can you tell us a little bit about this documentary?
Yeah, we started this a couple years ago. Chuy approached me and my brother, and with Arturo as his friend, to do something as a project. I like the idea, having a documentary on one fighter, but as a family in whole, as what we've been able to do for the sport, what my dad started with Robert, and my brother Danny and everybody accomplished, a great story. And I wanted to do something that way. My great grandkids, who knows if we're not involved in boxing by then, or if the family doesn't do that anymore. But that way they can at least have something to remember us and say that my uncle was this and did that in boxing. Robert did this. My dad, and then everybody was big time in boxing. That's kind of what I want. Keep a history for the family, and it's turning out to be pretty well, and then pretty good. Everybody's accepting it pretty well. We're getting some good response from it. We are having another screening, I think, on the 7th September for the documentary, and it's just something that we want to kind of share. I feel like most people, most fans don't know us that that personal. Obviously they just see us on TV for an hour, or if anything, maybe for like a 24/7 episode or something. But it's just another way to show them where we come from and who we are as a family, and where our roots are, and who my dad is as a person, and who we are. So that's what we decided to do it, and it turned out pretty well. I'm very happy with the way it turned out, and something very very special to have.
And it will be showing at Garden Grove at the LULAC building there on September 7th, the week before the Mayweather Canelo fight.
That's right.
Has the rest of your family seen it, Robert or your dad? Have they seen it, and what do they think of it?
Yeah, we saw it, and they're very happy. They like the way the documentary starts and how it unfolds, and it shows clips of old highlight films from when my brother was just starting, from when I was a little kid to just all over the place, and it's great. I mean, like we say, it's something that I felt like it was nice to have for like the future generation. My kids might not be in boxing anymore, but they could see that and just maybe be proud for what we accomplished for the sport.
And what do you think of your career, man? I mean, your opinion. If I asked you, what does Mikey Garcia think of Mikey Garcia and where you've gotten? I know you're a little modest there, and you're probably holding back some of that emotion, like only Mikey Garcia can hold that emotion back. But how do you feel about what you've done? Thinking back to when you used to hit a bag when you were a kid and growing up, and having your dad there at your side, and your brothers, and everybody else there that supported you. Well, what do you think of how you were then and how you are now?
Well, I think I'm pretty happy with what I've done so far, but I still want to do more. And I think with the right team, with my dad, my brother, and Cameron, my manager and Top Rank, we've done a really good job so far with my career. It's not just about me as a fighter, but you got to have the right team behind you to take you far places, and we've been doing that together since day one. And I'm staying with the same people around me. I mean, they're taking me to the best places. As a fighter, you want to reach the highest stages, and we're getting close. And winning the title is great. Every fighter wants to accomplish that, but once you do that, if you don't have any other goals other than that, I mean, then you could just retire. And I'm not done. I still want to do other things in the sport. And there's other things that I want to accomplish before I retire. And hopefully, I get to go soon and just show more of who I am as a fighter.
A few weeks back or a month ago when I saw you over at Inglewood at a fight card there, you talked about fighting Rocky Martinez and going up in weight to 130 to fight him for the WBO version of the title at that weight. Is that still in the works? I know I've heard that you guys were going to fight, but is it official? Is that going to happen?
It's pretty much still. I mean, still working on it. Um, I guess his team said yes, but then they are, still negotiating a couple of details, and I mean, my people are doing the same thing. It's a little bit of business and politics in the same, time, and most likely will be Rocky Martinez. We're looking at November, possibly November 9th. This is what I heard last, but we don't know where yet, and we're not 100% sure. I mean, unless we're in the ring, we still won't know.
Is it kind of scary there going up in weight, thinking that you're going to be fighting a world champion?
I don't think so. I mean, I think, I mean, we were already planning on going up and we can be, with this. So I don't think I should have a problem. I wanted to, move up in weight and not just fight an overweight bantamweight, at 130. We want to make sure that we are fighting the top, fighters in the division. Rocky Martinez is a world champion who has been there, a little longer than me. So it'll definitely be a good matchup, a good test to see where I am in that division.
And Mikey, man, again, man, I think since I first started the site a few years ago, you've been the guy that's come out the most. You being from Oxnard, I thank you very much for always keeping us informed. I'm sure everybody here in Oxnard, that all the fans here, they all want to know firsthand and hear from you, what you're up to and what you're doing. And I thank you very much for always giving us the time of day. And it's a big thrill just to see how much you've accomplished from the first time you came on to today, man. And I'm very proud of you. all
Right.
the things you're doing on the side, co-producing this particular film about your family, telling us the story, firsthand from you guys. It's going to be a great thing to see, and I'm going to be there in Garden Grove to see that. And I thank you
Perfect.
very much for coming on to the boxingbar.com once
Well,
again, my
thank
friend.
you. I'm always, ready to show, give the fight fans a, insight and heads up on upcoming events. Or, it's going for me. So I always appreciate coming on the show, and I gotta say thanks to all the fans. Like say, if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't feel like I belong here or like I am who I am. So I always say thanks.